Hello and welcome to week 8, the final week of the semester. For week 8, you're going to look at the week as a whole. You'll note that as usual in your Start Here menu, you will look at the overview in written and video format. You've only got one handout in the lessons and presentations section, and then of course you have 3 assignments. It's reiterated many times over the course of this video and in Canvas, but please remember that the last day of our course is Saturday, not Sunday. So you'll notice that for the discussion forum, you'll post by Thursday, which has been traditionally what we've done. There's been a couple of changes over a few different weeks, but mostly you've posted by Thursday and responded by Saturday, so you're used to that for the forums. But for your remix project final draft and for your week 8 reflection, you will be posting by Saturday. All right, it is the final week. As I said when we started this video, obviously you're going to continue to work on your remix project using any feedback that you've been given from your classmates and from me. You'll also reflect on your writing process and your overall experience in the course. These objectives or these assignments are tied to our course outcomes and objectives as usual, but keep remembering that your final push is to Saturday, so you want to make sure that everything's in well ahead of the final 11:59 p.m. deadline, so that you've got everything turned in for the semester. All right, so in your lessons and presentations section, you'll notice that you have a couple of reflection resources for you to read through to think about what you're doing when you're in that reflection process and how that reflection process actually helps you kind of build that toolbox, have those things that will guide you as a writer in the last week of this course and hopefully beyond. We know that reflection is a metacognitive activity where we are able to think through what we've done well, what we might need to improve in the future, and that helps us kind of internalize some of those decisions and weed out things that just are not working for us as a writer. So you've got those two. They're linked in the bulleted part, but you have them linked again below in the works cited portion. All right, so for discussion forum number 8, you're going to do a self-reflection /assessment. You'll post it by Thursday and respond by Saturday. And of course, as usual, you're going to reply to 2 of your classmates with a minimum of 150 words each. Your original post should be at least 250 words. It can be longer, but just know that it doesn't have to be longer. You're going to write a multi-paragraph post that reflects upon your learning for this semester. You want to think about that clear, kind of coherent structure to present your ideas. Do your best to use proper grammar. You do have a rubric available to you, so you can click on that, those 3 dots, and look at the rubric when you click on Show Rubric. You've got some questions below. How you answer them and how you decide to organize your answers to them, of course, is going to be individual. But you'll want to think about these reflection questions as you move through that response. But remember, 250 words is not a long response, so you'll want to think about how you can more or less concisely answer that, and then give some feedback to your peers. Again, original post or your initial post is due Thursday. You'll respond by Saturday. You'll also turn in your week 8 final project for the semester. This is your remix project. You'll turn in the final draft by Saturday, but please use the feedback provided in the peer review discussion forum from week 7, as well as my comments. And then finally, you are going to write a reflective essay. You're going to just post that to me, but what you can do is use what you've built in that discussion forum and add to it. Use that as kind of the beginning of your response. Of course, You're going to think about evaluating your own writing and writing practices. And you can, even think about how you've used feedback to revise and how you've moved from draft to final copy. You're going to use the course learning objectives to help you write this reflection and think about the work you've done and what you've learned. You could write about all of them, but you don't need to. You really want to think about only the objectives that you feel you've utilized or improved during the course. And so you've got the course outcomes and objectives listed for you, all the way through this. It's a long prompt, but the assignment itself is to compose a reflective essay that evaluates your work, as I said. As evidence for your work, you want to make direct reference to at least 2 of the major assignments you wrote for the semester. You can also, reference things like journals or discussion forums. You'll want to have a clear thesis. You want to be clear about what learning objectives you feel you've achieved or grown within, and there's a sample thesis. For that, you want to remember that when evaluating yourself, it's not enough to simply say that you achieved a learning objective. You want to provide evidence of that achievement and think about any review strategies that will help you submit a paper that reads well and follows the guidelines. And you always have the rubric available to you. It's just you'll scroll down a little further. Your minimum is 750 words, and you want to complete this in MLA format, 9th edition. All right, so as we close this final video for the semester, please note again that the last day of the semester is Saturday. And of course, as always, feel free to ask any questions you have as you move through the week and complete those assignments.